Mike. Okay, ladies and gents, boys and girls, happy Monday, October the 10th, 2022. What is going on? Chris Phillips here, the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show here on this Victory Monday. What is going on? Let's go ahead and hop into it. Very excited to chat with you all here on this Monday. As you see, we are back in studio for TDC. I see Brendan Wagner, Todd Smith, Caden, Travis, Travie, Babes and Waves, Hunter Herlong, Justin Langford, Cameron Blassingame, XM, John Edward. Let's see, Stephen Boardwell, Jeff Gullidge, Rebecca, Stephanie, Austin Ward. What's up? Appreciate y'all tuning in. Also, those in the Big Cock Club Discord. Y'all head on over to the TDC Questions channel, to be sure that your questions are answered there. Guys, my goodness, how much difference a week can make. How much difference a week can make, folks. The Gamecocks are now 4-2. Big win over the weekend in Lexington, Kentucky. And I want to hear all your thoughts, your questions, your comments, your calls. We are taking those here on a Monday, 843-790-3377. Also, guys, the podcast, of course, did drop this morning under the name The Spurs Up Show. My full thoughts on everything that happened over the weekend, top takeaways, our Cock Commander MVP of the weekend, and everything in between, guys. Really, really exciting stuff. Again, though, I want to hear from you today. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Beamer ball to the freaking moon, folks. On that note, really quickly, you see the merch. You see it every day. 15% off all merchandise until midnight tonight using the promo code BeamerBall, all one word, BeamerBall together, 15% off. So if you've been waiting for whatever reason to get your BeamerBall merch, Shane Storm, your, Beamer Rattler merch, whatever it is, Clem Sucks, you guys know what we got, the towels, whatever. Now is the time to go get it. Promo code BeamerBall, 15% off until midnight tonight. That's over at tsus.store. Also, as always, the Daily Crow, brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Go download the Prize Picks app, go to prizepicks.com. By the way, shout out my guy, Brandon Wagner. How about Brandon Wagner with the super chat? Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, sir. He says, suck it, great value, Stoops, Beamer ball to the moon. And if you're trying to call in right now, give me just 2 seconds. I'm going to get this ad read out of the way, and then we will officially open up the phone lines. I see you, 843 number. I got you. I promise. I'm going to let you in. I promise. Just give me 2 seconds. Just give me 2 seconds. I realized that you guys were calling in at the beginning of the show when I was doing the ad read. And so I was like, let's get this out of the way. Then the phone lines will be open. We'll open up the floodgates. But anyways, guys, over at Prize Picks, download the app, go to their website, use the promo code TSUS at sign up to receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. And guys, ask anybody who's tuned in right now. So many people have won tons of money with our friends at Prize Picks, right? You can play prop plays on any sport, any prop you can think of. Basically, they have it. Again, with the MLB playoffs getting going, college football, college sports, NHL is back. You've got, like I just mentioned, MLB, the NFL, NBA, any sports you can think of, guys. There's tons of money to be won. Let's break the bookie this season with our friends at Prize Picks. That's promo code TSUS at sign up to receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Somebody asked, by the way, does Savell beef with you? No, Savell and I are cool. We haven't beefed at all with Savell. Unless I missed something. Savell and I are cool. I don't know. All right. Now, guys, the phone lines are officially open. You can call in 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. I do want to hear from you. Again, the comment line is Monday as expected. Here we go. Justin, what's up, man? How are you?
How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
Hey, Chris, I feel good today. We finally beat Kentucky, got this monkey off our back.
Yeah, winning is fun. Yeah, it's amazing again what just having getting a win can do for a fan base's psyche. And again, that's why I talked about all last week, man, just how big of a game it was. You had gotten through 5 games the season with not really a lot to show for it at this point, or at that point, excuse me. And you just needed a quality win going into the bye week. And, I don't care who Kentucky had playing and didn't have playing. We had guys out too, but you got that quality win. So it's that shot in the arm you needed. And, just happy with the Gamecocks fan base, obviously happy with the football team. And, man, was it ever a big one for Shane Beamer and his team, because they kept receipts of what Mark Stoops said. That is for sure. That is for sure. With the glasses and the post game and the T-shirts. And, yeah, Shane Beamer kept the receipts, folks. There is no doubt.
Oh yeah, Chris, I was happy too because, man, it feels good to be Kentucky. Because we talked about this 2 weeks ago and said we got to beat Kentucky. We got to beat them. Chris.
Yeah, losing to Kentucky sucks. And it's just one of those things where we got so used to beating Kentucky for so long, you're just never going to convince. And the fact too that we were beating Kentucky every year when we weren't great. Even when we were winning 6 games, whatever, we were still beating Kentucky. Right. So you're just never going to convince Gamecock fans that it's okay to lose to Kentucky, no matter how up and up, if you will, their program, has gotten. So no, it's a great win though, man. It's great to snap a couple streaks, go on the road and play well. And I know the first half was rough, but to make those second half adjustments and really take it to an SEC opponent. And, it's just that shot in the arm the fan base needed, and it gives you a lot of hope and optimism for the second half of the season. Now you look at the second half, you look at the last 6 games through a bit of a different scope and a different lens. So it's a great win, man, and it feels good to be good here on this Monday for sure.
Oh, yeah, it does too, Chris. And Chris, I was watching Alabama. Tess said should be Alabama, but the quarterback has, he's wide receiver he was too covered,
About, are you talking about the last play or what?
The last play for the Texas A&M Alabama game.
Yeah, it was a dog shit play call. Not a great play call. Not a great play call, I think. Even if he catches it, I don't think he's in. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the deal with that was. How about this? I don't mean to cut you off, by the way, but I just saw this. Matt Rule officially fired as the Panthers head coach. How about that? Jeez, that was quick.
Oh, my God.
Maybe he'd be interested in being our offensive coordinator.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah, Chris, I want him out. You know that?
Yeah, that's I think a lot of Panthers fans are happy about that, though. So.
Yeah, I have too, Chris. Yeah, Chris. Hey, Chris, if I got here, man. Hey, Chris, what do you thought about Tennessee's offense, man? That offense is hard to stop,
Tennessee's offense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tennessee's really good. I'm not saying they're going to beat Alabama, but I know it. Gamecock fans don't want to accept it. There's many things Gamecock fans don't want to accept, though. But I think Tennessee's good. I had them 9-3 before the season. Almost picked them to go 10-2. I expected them to be good. The question for them was defense. They throw it all over the yard. Hendon Hooker's for real. Tennessee's a really good football team. I had them finishing second. So I think Tennessee's really good. What they're doing, I had Tennessee covering 2.5 against LSU. What they're doing right now isn't totally shocking to me. I know as Gamecock fans, again, we hate to see it, but I think, in my opinion, you just got to tip your cap, man. I think Tennessee's for real.
Oh yeah, I agree, Chris. And Chris, the thing about Tennessee, all the way to Kansas, Alabama, Georgia, that's the same vibe.
Yeah, I think those are the 2 teams that stand in their way. But no, Tennessee's for real. Justin, I appreciate the call, my guy. Always a pleasure to chat with you. We're gonna keep, guys. I'm gonna keep rolling through these calls because we got a lot of people. I got a lot of people that are trying to call in. So phone lines are open, 843-790-3377. Guys, Steven Garcia going to join us in the second hour. So get your calls in now. Our guy, Gar, the Roach King, playing in a golf tournament today. So I don't know. He might actually join us a little bit, or join us at the same time. I don't really know yet. But just to be safe, we're going to give him some extra time. Let's jump to the phone line.
Will from Dirty Myrtle.
Will, what's up, man? How are you?
Good. I thought you might have Rebecca me for a second there, bro. I was like, what's going on?
I did not Rebecca you, my friend. And here's the thing. This might be good news to some, might be bad news to some, and might be indifferent to some. But Rebecca called in last week, and we won. So I think it's got to become a weekly tradition at this point. So I'm just saying.
whatever it takes. Just wanted to call in and give my opinion, man. Great win. Really started out hot, and then which was not normal for us to get such a big play early, but then kind of fizzled out a little bit in the first half. Offense was anemic, and then Rattler showed up good big in the second half. He played like a different quarterback in that second half, and hopefully that's something we can kind of see going forward, because it's been one of those years for him that it's hard to judge, man. I mean, you're looking at him 5 touchdowns through 6 games isn't really what we were looking for, but we're 4-2, and I think that's pretty much where everybody had us, you know. So I mean, that's, or at least where I had us. So it's good, but then at the same time, it's like there's a little more to be desired on the offensive side of the ball, right?
Oh, I mean, for sure, of course. And listen, and it's okay to say that here on this Monday. I mean, I'm ecstatic for the victory. I'm thrilled over it, but I mean, no doubt, nobody would deny that there's certainly more. I mean, you had 90 yards of offense in the first half, right? The defense is what should be the story, right? I mean, they kept you in the ball game long enough for your offense to figure some things out and finally have some explosives. And you know, that defensive line, what they did was just, I mean, that you know, I'll tell you this, and I don't want to overreact, obviously, because listen, I understand who Kentucky had out, and you can't deny that made a difference in the ball game. But that felt like a vintage Carolina defensive line performance. Like that reminded me of the Spurrier years, where our defensive line would just take over. You know what I mean? Like our studs up front would just overwhelm the opponent. And I'm not saying we got any Jadeveon Clowneys up front, but that just, it reminded me of those dominating performances of the Spurrier years up front. So that was great to see. You know, I know I've been very critical of Jordan Burch and Zach Pickens and those guys stepping up and they played like 5 stars. I thought they did. I thought they played like 5
Burch
stars.
was good.
They finally lived up. You know, that's kind of how we expect them to play, and you just hope they can continue to build on that. And but that defensive line performance was, I mean, the best we've seen in quite some time, honestly. 6 sacks on the night. I don't care who Kentucky's quarterback was. And then you hold, you know, if you'd have told me in pregame you were going to hold Kentucky to 120 rushing yards or so, I would have signed up for that in a heartbeat. I would have told you had a great chance to win. And, I mean, again, we talked about the things going into Kentucky that mattered, that were important, line of scrimmage, winning up front, and you outrushed Kentucky. And, again, if you would have told me that last week, that, hey, you're going to outrush the Wildcats, I would have said you got a great shot to win, right? Because it means you won the battle up front. So that's why South Carolina won the football game. They won the battle in the trenches on both sides, I mean, if you really want to boil it down to it. But, no, you know, offensively, man, without getting into – you know, because I know some folks love to get into film study and formations. And, dude, you know, the offense, obviously, there's still left to be desired. And I think at this point, I'm not going to be the guy this week that is leading with the negative and complaining. But, you know, I think that's probably going to be us for this entire year. We're not going to be Tennessee on offense. We're not going to be explosive. We're not. We're 6 games in, man. You're not all of a sudden just going to be scoring 40 points per game on the other side of the bye week. So we're going to need our defense to pick up the slack. Bottom line, we're going to need our defense to force some turnovers. I mean, obviously, I still want to see more out of Spencer Rattler, but out of Spencer Rattler. But yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe the simulation was right. I tell you, we were watching that simulation thinking, man, I can't believe how pedestrian Rattler's stats are. He had like 9 touchdowns and 10 picks. I tell you, he's kind of on pace for that, isn't he? He's kind of on pace for that.
Yep. I texted you during the game. I was like, that simulation knew what
it knew. Like the sim knew. It knew, outside of us beating Georgia. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, man, where again, winning cures all. You know, if you lose that game
absolutely
27-24, the commentary is about how porous the offense is. That's what we're talking about. But you won the football game. So that's not what we're talking about. And you know, I would say on that note too, man, that I said it after SC State, and I know there's a lot left to be desired, but people are like, you know, this guy's acting like they just won the Super Bowl. It's like, dude, I'm going to celebrate a win, big or small. It does not matter to me, bro. Like, we won. Winning is fun. Let me say this. If you ever get to a point as a fan where winning stops being fun, just stop watching sports, because you're not even getting the good side out of it. Like, we're going to be miserable when we lose. That is 110% a guarantee. Don't also lead with misery and negativity when you win. I'm not saying don't look at things through a critical scope and a critical lens. That's literally what I do on a daily basis. But damn it, at least be able to enjoy a victory. I don't care how it comes, how it happens. Enjoy winning. The fun is in the winning, especially when you go on the road and beat an SEC team, right? It doesn't mean all the problems are fixed and that we're some perfect team, that we're going to win 9 or 10 games. But damn it feels good to beat Kentucky. I don't give a damn how it happened, right? And that's like I see people.
I'm gonna add this.
Yeah, go ahead. Good.
I'm gonna add this real quick. One, people that don't know how big that game was don't understand what kind of. If Beamer loses that game with their starting quarterback out, it's a different conversation today about a lot of things. It was a huge win on a top 15 team. Nobody gave a shit about us losing 4 quarterbacks or starting 4 quarterbacks last year. Nobody cared. Nobody gave us a pat on the back. I'm not going to feel sorry for him with that. And also, we ran the ball. Marshawn Lloyd is that guy. Now, we didn't, have a great game running the ball as far as like stats, but he did good when we needed him to do good, and Rattler did well as well. But just people out there understand, Beamer just changed the scope of the season in one game. We're looking at that Texas A&M game now, like we can win that game, maybe, right? Like that's not an unwinnable game. That's a very winnable game, especially how they've been playing with the confidence we got.
Yeah.
And I just want to say I'm a negative guy on some forefronts when it comes to looking at, but I am very happy about this win. And Beamer did a big thing, man. We went on the road and we won in a big fashion. It wasn't a close game. That score wasn't even as close as the game was. You know what I mean? Like that's huge for us, bro. We don't win a lot of games like that.
Yeah, I mean,
how many?
Yeah, to just go on the road and play, to go on the road and play the way you did, and like you mentioned, my man, I really did feel like after that first series, right, where we forced the fumble and score, it kind of felt like it was our night, and Kentucky was on their heels, and they sort of knew that without Levis, they were going to have a tough time winning. And even when it was 7-7 at half, I just felt like I was like, man, the way our defense is playing, just 2 scoring drives, and we're golden. You know what I mean? Like I felt confident in the defense, so you felt like it was a game you could control. And what I loved seeing the most is we played like a team with a chip on their shoulder. And obviously the culture climate thing, that played so much of a bigger role in that football game than any of us even gave credit to leading into it. I had people last week telling me, oh, Chris, let it go. Beamer said he knew it wasn't about him. Stoops said this, just let it go. Why are you even bringing it up? Well, obviously Shane Beamer kept receipts and he took that shit personally. I mean, very, very personally, because all the stuff that happened post-game, yeah. I mean, that team played like a team that wanted to prove a point. And I just love to see that. I love seeing South Carolina being the aggressor. Normally kind of feels like we're the ones that are on the other side of that, right? So to see the Gamecocks be the aggressor and really take it to Kentucky and go out there with a point to prove and prove that point, that was a lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely. And you remember, I called in, I don't know when it was, but it was after the comments came out. And I said, for us to take our spot back, we got to beat Kentucky. Yeah. We got to get our spot back. And we did that. That's the first fucking step. We beat Texas A&M. If we do, we're 5-2. And think about where our headspace is going to be at that point. Who knows? I mean, we very well might be ranked. We got 12 votes in the AP. We beat Texas A&M. That's a possible rank. So, I mean, great kudos to the team. I just wanted to call and say, man, it was a great game. Fun night to be a Gamecock. And, there's some stuff left we can do better, but we haven't even played a good game yet. And we're 4-2.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. Anyway, I'll hang up, Chris. Talk to you later, brother.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, Will. Always a pleasure to chat with you. Really, really good stuff. Will from Dirty Myrtle. Always a pleasure. Lexi Crawford in the TDC Question Channel says, give JC a shout out. I actually did on the podcast, but yeah, JC nailed it. He had 24 to 14 last week, or 24 to 13, I think was his prediction. Final score 24 to 14. So JC Sherbert nailed it. JC Sherbert absolutely nailed it. Let's see. Yeah, Greg Bedinger, Garcia. I think we're going to do 1:30. He's playing in a golf tournament. I'm sorry if that does not work with your schedule, but that's what the Roach King is up to. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump the lines.
Call from
Robbie Davis, Zaxby's Hall of Famer.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Robbie, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic on this wonderful Victory Monday, my dude. Okay. First off, I want to apologize to my mom because she was pissed at me because she found out I picked us to lose. Okay. And it took a minute, but I tried to explain to her, like, look, all it was a prediction. I want us to win. All that was a prediction. Okay? And Saturday night, there's no doubt about it. We proved a point that we can play some pretty darn good football to an extent. Aside from the offense looking a little sluggish, we played pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this, watching our football team, it is still hard for me to grasp the offensive struggles. I mean, I'm not expecting us to score 50 a game, but it's little things like, you know, when you block the punt, not capitalizing. Like that's a killer, right? You know, and
yeah,
that was a game, I said this on the podcast, but that was a game it kind of reminded me of, and this is taking nothing away, by the way, but just an honest analysis of the game. It kind of reminded me of the Arkansas game in the sense of we were very slow out of the gate. I mean, think about it. If we don't have that fumble in the first play, we're probably 7-0. We probably go scoreless in the first half, right? Anyways,
yeah,
how it was a slow start. The difference was, and in the second half, you know, we got it together and got things going a little bit offensively. The difference was Kentucky was not good enough. And our defense played much better, but Kentucky was not good enough to expose us early and lay it on us early, right? And our defense, again, played much better.
right.
But I don't know. Like, you know, I was – the offensive struggles, right? And I loved what I saw in the second half. I loved the halftime adjustments. Obviously, I'm in a very, very productive second half. I don't know if maybe the play calling duties got divvied up, something changed. I saw a lot of communication with Shane Beamer and Marcus Satterfield. And whatever they did in the second half, that's something that needs to continue. I'll just tell you that right now. That needs to continue.
Yeah. And honestly, I was not expecting us to kind of, I guess you could say, contain Rodriguez, because whenever he came back last week, I was like, oh crap, he's healthy. This isn't good. But we sort of kind of contained Rodriguez a little bit. I mean, yes, he got a couple of decent runs, but mainly we contained him. And I said this last week during the week. I was like, if we can stop the run and force this freshman quarterback to sit back there in the pocket or make him uncomfortable and make him move, we'll have a shot at winning. And we did that Saturday night. We took care of business. We shut Stoops up. Thank God we shut Stoops up. I've been thinking since media days, I was like, Karma is a bitch. Okay. I was like, Stoops, Karma's a bitch. You're going to freaking get yours come October.
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously Kentucky was going to lean on Chris Rodriguez in this game with a quarterback that had never thrown a pass before.
Right.
And he got his, but I agree with you. Held him in check just enough. And I tell you, man, it really, the defensive line, I feel like the sacks were what made the difference in the game, because I'm just looking back at the statistics. I will say that Sharon kid did not play that bad for his first ever action. I mean, he threw the one interception, but he had 2 touchdown passes. So, I mean, not
he didn't play that bad.
Yeah, I mean, he technically outdueled Spencer Rattler, edged him by 1 passing yard. But
and one thing I would love to see from Spencer, okay, and I hate it that he does this all the time, okay. If I was our QB coach, I would tell Rattler this: if the check down is there, get it to the check down. If the main guy is open, throw it. But if no one's there, run with it. Do something. Just he hangs on to the ball way too long.
Right.
And defenses in this conference are way too fast for you to sit back there and twiddle your thumbs. You got to make a decision.
Yeah, indeed.
And that's what I would tell him. Like if when all else fails, get it to the check down. If the main receiver's not open, get out of there and get some yardage and get down. Don't try to overdo it. Just get yardage, keep the offense on the field, and good things will happen. And I think it's safe to say that Lloyd has had a very good stretch of games, even though two of the 3 wins the last 3 weeks were against inferior opponents. He to me, from what I've seen the last 3 games, he's found his groove. He's in his groove, and he's playing very well right now.
Marshawn Lloyd's a beast. There's no question. It was a lot of fun to watch him run the football. And I don't know if anybody else felt this, but when I watched him, it felt like he was gliding on Saturday night. Like just it was like an effortlessly fast. You know what I mean? Like he was very effortlessly quick. And I think what you're seeing is him just finally, he is 110% healthy, and he's confident, and he's having success, which is giving him more confidence. And he's every bit living up to that 5-star pedigree that he came in with. So you love to see it again for a guy that battled the injuries and the adversity, and for him to live up to his potential, if you will. It was a lot of fun to watch. I mean, watching him, I said this on social media yesterday, but watching him run the football is intoxicating. I mean, it really was. It's a lot of fun. So I don't think it's too bold to say he's the best player on this football team. Like as a whole, anybody. Best player on this football team. Yeah. He should, I said this when he first got to Carolina, and that offense that he came into had a lot less weapons, but I think he should be the focal point of the offense. I really do. He's by far our most dynamic player at this point. So he's a guy that, hey, listen, your receivers and others, they might go a weaker, whatever, without touching the ball. A Shane Beamer's whatever. There's no excuse for an Marshawn Lloyd to not get fed the ball every week. There's just absolutely no excuse. He's your bell cow. He's your go-to guy. So
yeah. And now we gotta just, for the next basically 2 weeks, get ready for A&M and give A&M hell, because from what I've seen the last couple of weeks, A&M's not looking so good.
Yeah, I mean, A&M is very beatable. A&M's very beatable, no doubt. They have been. It's hard. It's tough to really figure out Texas A&M, but I think it's obviously.
And I told somebody this. I'll finish with this. I told somebody this at the men's conference that I went to this past weekend, and I said, every football team has a weakness, okay, or has weaknesses. It's just there are teams that are very, very good at hiding their weakness. And right now, A&M is not doing very well at hiding their weakness.
Right. Yeah, should be a fun one, man. Both teams have a bye week. So, what more could you ask for, man? Gamecocks are on a 3-game winning streak. We're going to find out the kickoff time here very, very soon. Should be in the next, at most 30 minutes or so. The SEC will announce the kickoff times, and I tell you, if it's a night game at Willie B, it's going to be rocking. It's going to be rocking. So
it's going to be chaos.
Yeah, it's going to be rocking. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, man, it's crazy. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, it's crazy how much things can change when you just one game, just winning one game can completely change. But again, it was one you needed, man. You needed to see this team go out and perform against what I'd say a quality opponent, an SEC opponent, just to show you can do it.
Yeah. And now the team knows they can do it. They can win some conference games.
Yes, absolutely. Robbie, my friend, it's always a pleasure to chat with you, my guy. I appreciate you calling in.
You have a great one, okay?
Yeah, man. We'll talk to you soon, Robbie.
Yep.
Great stuff. Guys, in case you did not realize, again, I'm trying to keep the calls to a 10-minute maximum. We'll just say that. A 10-minute maximum is what we're going to do. So, anyways, guys, want to continue to hear from you. 843-790-3377. How about this? Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Gamecocks, Texas A&M, 7:30 kickoff on SEC Network. Holy smokes. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Zachary.
Zachary, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
Well, we got a big win. Beat a top 15 team. Be a top 15 team. I don't want to hear it from Kentucky fans. I don't want to hear who they didn't have because I don't care. Because guess what? Y'all are a top 15 team, and that means your entire roster is probably better than our roster. So that's what that's supposed to mean. So you should be the better team, so you should win.
I agree with you 110%. I don't think injuries is a good excuse, and we sure as hell didn't get any sympathy last year when we had 4 different quarterbacks play a game. So, I mean, yeah, it's a win anyway league, my man. 5 years from now, nobody's going to give a damn who was starting, who wasn't. They're just going to know that we beat Kentucky. So it ain't really going to matter. So I agree with you, man. I don't take anything away from the Gamecocks. I mean, listen, did Will Levis not playing factor into the game? I mean, certainly, man. You don't have your starting quarterback. But, again, it's a win anyway league, and I'm certainly not going to sit here saying all week, yeah, but. No, there's no yeah, but. You won the football game, bottom line.
Yeah. Will Levis barely beat us last year, so how much of a difference would that really have made?
Say it again?
I said Will Levis barely beat us last year, so how much of a difference would that really have made?
Right, for sure.
But, Chris, I said this last week. I said, can we just find a way to just hang in there? I said we could probably win this game by 7-3 or 10, and I said 10, and we won by 10, and I was very happy to see that. Right away when we got that turnover, I just knew that tonight was going to be different because that's like kind of like a fate thing, where you could say like a bounce of the ball thing, but just to start the game off like that was huge for the team.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was nice to see us get one of those breaks. You know what I mean? There's a lot of factors that go into winning a football game. And, good fortune's one of them. Good fortune is one of them. So to see us get that bounce and, also too, I mean, I say get that bounce, we made a play. I will say that first play calling was shocking. I just, that's again, it made me feel so confident after that it felt like Kentucky feels like they've got to be finesse and gadgety, if you will, to beat us. They don't feel confident enough in this quarterback and their run game that they're going to have to do stuff like that. So it gave me even more confidence after that. But, I mean, listen, man, you get opportunities, you take advantage of them. Just glad to be on the right side of it.
Yeah, because I noticed that. I was like, that's so weird that they called that, because I'm like, if I'm their OC, Scangarella, I'm just calling Chris Rodriguez. I'm just calling it draw play, I'm just calling halfback dive, but draw play is something. But yet they tried to do that fancy reverse, and I was like so confused on why that was their opening play call. But like you said, maybe they just did not trust their quarterback, and it kind of showed that they did not trust him, because there was a lot of man coverage, and they did not take their chances against it. So I think that's one thing that should show you something.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I mean, listen, Levis not playing made a difference, but like you said, the Gamecocks defense, you got to just tip your cap to them and what Clayton White did. And, one of my key matchups was Clayton White against that starting quarterback, and I think they had a great plan in place, and I think the attacking nature and getting after him, and again, it made a difference.
I was telling somebody earlier, I was like, I'm okay with just us, I'm not you don't have to blitz in this game against this quarterback necessarily. I was okay in obvious passing situations, just dropping back, playing coverage, and if the D line gets to the D line gets there. But I was like, but you gotta contain that run. But Chris Rodriguez got you said, but he's great, so he's gonna get his. So that's what you can just expect from that.
Yeah, I mean, again, all things considered, I think the Gamecocks defense did a fantastic job. So,
yeah. So we got Texas A&M coming up. I really like this game. Texas A&M, their offense is not as good as not that good. They're playing with Haynes King, but to be honest, it would not have mattered if they were playing with Haynes King or Max Johnson because their offense just looks abysmal. So it's what I had to go back and listen to what Josh he said. It's the efficient offense inspired in 2014, and yeah, it was because it shows like it does not matter who they play against. It just looks so stagnant.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's like I said, it's crazy how winning one game completely changes your perspective on everything. And Texas A&M again, very winnable, very very winnable. Now you got them at home at night under the lights. You're 4-0 at night. I know I see Lady Bree in the comments saying it doesn't matter, but it does. It does. You know what I mean? It's just an interesting stat going into the game. And anytime you've got somebody on your home field at night in front of a raucous Williams-Brice crowd, which is certainly what it'll be, you feel good about your chances. So, it's going to be exciting. Going to be a lot of fun. It's a team you've never beaten. You've got another opportunity to break another streak, right? Reverse another trend. And that's exciting in itself. So, we'll certainly talk a lot more Texas A&M next week. I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched a ton of A&M football. I've watched a little bit here and there. I know they've struggled offensively. Know they got a lot of talent, right? A lot of young talent, but a lot of talent nonetheless. But, yeah, man, you look at this. I would say you look at this. This is your best shot to beat Texas A&M, right? This is your best shot you've had in quite a while to snap that streak. So, again, at home, at night, you love your chances. And, I think it'll probably be another game where you need to lean on your defense, and your defense needs to expose Haynes King. I just – until I see it, again, I don't expect this offense to be some crazy explosive force scoring 35-plus points per game. You'll probably need to win another 27-24 or 24-20 type of game. But that's the cards you're dealt right now. And, I hope that maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they can carry what they did in the second half against Kentucky and carry that for the rest of the season. And, all of a sudden we're lighting up the scoreboard. I mean, we'd all love to see that. But, again, we'll talk more Texas A&M next week. But, it's a big one, man. It's a big one. I mean, it's crazy, though, how all of a sudden, and I made this point already, but it's crazy all of a sudden we're going from – people last week at this time were talking, God, we're going to go 4-8. We'll be lucky to go 5-7. And now I'm seeing people talking about, man, we could start 7-2. So the highs are extremely high and the lows are extremely low when it comes to SEC football and SEC fan bases. But that's why we love it, man. That's why we love it. So, I'm going to try to stay in the middle as much as possible. And I think it'll still be a really tall task and a tough challenge. And, the mental advantage that A&M has of they've never lost to you, right? They've owned you. They've absolutely owned you. And this is an A&M team that last year they beat you 44-10. So you got to go out there and prove some things. And I want to see a team continue to play with that chip on its shoulder. I do. I want to see that. So, and I think they will. I think they will. So should be a lot of fun, man. Under the lights at Willie B.
I'll say this, Chris, before I go. I think I said this to you or to somebody else. If you give this team some confidence, I think they can be dangerous. If you give this team just a little bit of confidence, because Shane Beamer has been saying this, he's like, I'm trying to keep these guys confident. Because I think he understands that too. If you give this team just a little bit of confidence, they can be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, dude, and that goes with any team, any sport, any athlete, right? It's we talk all the time about the chicken or the egg conversation. You need confidence to be successful, but you need to have some success to build that confidence, right? So it goes hand in hand. So now what you're seeing is a football team that you beat Charlotte, you beat SC State, right? You have some things to feel good about, but it's not conference play. But now you've done it in an SEC game, right? And so now you truly do have a team. You've won 3 in a row for the first time since 2017. Now you got a football team that believes, and now you got a group of athletes that believes. And it's kind of crazy how, and I'm someone that I apply this in my personal life, but when you have positive energy and you manifest things and you speak things into existence, it can apply in sports too, man. I mean, I know we clown on Dabo Sweeney, and I'm certainly not trying to whatever. We clown on him, but one time when he said, you've got to see it before it happens, I know people clowned him, but I understood the point that he was making, that as an athlete, you got to see it happening. You got to believe that it's going to happen. And, having success and building that confidence only helps to reinforce that. So, I mean, again, what more could you ask for going into Texas A&M 3-game winning streak? This team is as confident probably as it's been all season long. And we'll see how far that takes you against A&M. But this team absolutely coming off the bye week should be prepared to play their best football game of the season. And if they do that, you feel pretty confident that you can get the win.
Yeah. All right, Chris. Thanks for taking my call.
Zachary, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Again, guys, let's see. Somebody text in, what's up, Chris? How was the cat pack tasting? The cat pack was sweet, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Yeah, in case you missed it, guys, 7:30 kickoff. Gamecocks and Texas A&M. It is going to be a raucous one, a rowdy one at Williams-Brice Stadium in about, 12 days? 12 days till kick? 12 days until that game. Going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. The tailgate's going to be lit. Going to be a good time. Let's start with the phone lines. Bree, what's up? How are you?
What's up? What's up, Chris? How are you?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
What the heck? Why do I have a – hold on. I got to figure this out. That's weird. All right. Man. So, are you happy, Chris? Are you happy, man?
I'm ecstatic. Winning is very fun. Yeah, I'm ecstatic. Absolutely. I'm not in. Listen, I'm not in this business to be right. I'm in this business to win. So I'm, hey, listen, I will say this, and I made this point in the podcast this morning, but I had a lot of confidence and optimism going into the game, but I just refused to have egg on my face. So I don't, I had a guy call in and leave a voicemail and say that I should be the slap dick of the weekend for picking Kentucky to beat Carolina. I don't regret that stance at all. I think there's no fault in fans that are in a show me type of sense or in a I'll believe it when I see it type of sense. There's nothing wrong with that. And so I am happy that this football team finally played the way that I feel like we all felt they were capable of doing so. But that's another thing that makes it so special. And another reason why I'm ecstatic today is because this football team did something we have just not seen them do. We have not seen them do it. So for them to actually go out on the road, be the tone setter, take it to Kentucky, win on the line of scrimmage enough, right? Win more times than they lose to impose their will and get victory. Dude, listen, that's something that I'm ecstatic to see. I was hopeful it would happen, and now we sit here on this Monday celebrating the win. So I'm yeah, I mean, a lot of positives obviously take away, and just like I said, we talked about it as the inflection point. You just look at the second half of the season completely differently now than you would have if you had lost the game. So,
well, and if I was a total dick, I would look at your after-game reactions and then want to remind you, hey, you picked against us and all that. But, I also knew that you've always said, like, hey, man, I got to make my predictions, but I always hope we're going to win. So it's not like you were, like, pulling against us and then all of a sudden doing a flip around and going, I was actually a fan the whole time.
And, well, I mean, that's what turns some folks away from my commentary, is that they don't understand that you can pick your team to lose, and it's not some sense of like, well, it's me against Carolina football. No, it's just me taking my fandom out of it and giving an honest evaluation and a pick. Right? I wasn't pulling for Carolina to get blasted by Georgia when I picked us to lose 41-10. I wasn't pulling for Carolina to go to Fayetteville and get run all over when I picked us to lose that football game either. But you're just let me tell you this right here. Let me tell you this. Your opinion doesn't mean jack shit if you pick Carolina to win every week. If you can't take your glasses off, because then it becomes, well, that's the sunshine pumper guy, and that's just not my lane. So, and if people want that, there are other avenues they can go, but to think I'm not gonna celebrate because I picked us, I made a pick and it went the other way, you know what I mean? Like that's the most foolish thing I've ever heard. So I don't know. There's some people that can separate that and understand that, and there's some people that can't, and that's okay, right? That's okay.
No, I mean, hey, man, that is what it is. But hey,
Yeah.
what did I tell you, man? I kind of told you that the line of scrimmage was going to do it, right? I mean, it was our O line and our D line were the real key factors in that game, man. And I've been tracking that for so long. I went back, this is like a lot of people think I got the garnet glasses on because I'm, I want to defend Sad or this and that. And it's not about defending Sad. It's about assigning blame on certain plays where the blame belongs. I want to get out of that subject. But, I really watched Kentucky. I didn't just watch ESPN and say, oh, Kentucky's ranked this and they got these rushing defense stats and this and that. I really watched all of Kentucky's games. And I knew that down the middle, and by the way, A&M set up just the same, just so y'all know. I can almost give y'all the same damn breakdown on A&M as Kentucky. In the middle, they were always letting runs break. Now, on the perimeters, because their DBs are so damn fast and their DBs are their strength, you couldn't really get a lot of perimeter runs on Kentucky this year. But down the middle, they've been giving runs all year. And that's what I told everybody. I said, look, man, we're going to move the ball right down the middle, and we're going to move it up the field. We're going to go right down their throat. We're going to get 200 yards rushing. I was only off by 21. You got to do more than just, watch our bad plays. And I know a lot of people did the comparisons. Oh, we did Charlotte. We did this. But, guys, and I said, look, the stats evened out when they played the same level of teams. And what I knew going into Kentucky was the way we played against our FCS team and the way they played against their FCS team, we look a lot better. So when you compare that and you go, oh, well they, what about in the SEC play? We played two really hard SEC teams. I know Arkansas is looking rough right now, guys, but they didn't really lose to A&M. Well, they lost to A&M. A&M didn't beat them. You know what I mean? A&M didn't beat those guys. So, you know what I mean? It was more like, Arkansas gave that game away. We look back and we go, but I think when we look back, we're going to look back and go, we let Arkansas get away from us. I do put that on Satterfield. And when I do my breakdown, that'll be one of the things I talk about as far as Satterfield goes. He didn't call enough runs in Arkansas. We were running the ball fine, but we left that game with an illusion that our O-line was bad. We left the game with UGA that our O-line was bad. And I kept telling everybody, I'm like, it's not. It's really not. Our O-line's playing well. There's this going on. There's that going on. But the O-line continued to play well around other issues. Those issues are getting fixed, man. They're all coming together. I want to talk about, like I said, A&M is going to be a similar game. I think we can win it very similar. But I'm going to tell you what, man, Mizzou is it's not that they're really good. They're weird. And that's a team that's coming up that is tricky for me because watching them and breaking them down game by game is nothing consistent. One game they're doing this, the next game they're doing that. You know what I mean? They're bad at this one game. The next game they don't look so bad at that, but they're better at something else. But they're worse at this. Mizzou's going to be a weird one, guys. Don't be surprised if that game doesn't go our way or something, or it looks dirtier or grimier than what we're hoping for. I think Texas A&M should be a good, clean win for us. Mizzou's going to be a weird one unless I see something different. I haven't gotten to all their games, but Mizzou's going to be a weird one.
Hey, a dub is a dub is a dub, man. I don't think we're at a point where we can nitpick and we should have won by more. I don't give a damn. Just get to 7 or 8 wins, and I'll be ecstatic. I don't care if they all come by 1 point. I feel like I talked a lot about over the summer that how you win and how you lose in year 2 of Beamer is really important. But we've kind of reached the point in the season, this second half now where it's just like the SEC gauntlet, and then you have Clemson at the end. We've reached the point where, you'd like to beat Vanderbilt by a margin, and you'd even like to beat Mizzou by a margin. But these games, if you win by 1, who gives a damn? I mean, like I said, if we beat A&M by a field goal, I'm not going to care that we didn't beat them by more. You know what I mean? If you beat Mizzou, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? So, I've kind of accepted that. Again, I don't see us being – I'm hoping we can take whatever the hell we did in the second half against Kentucky and carry it over, but I don't expect us to be at any point some sort of offensive juggernaut, and that's okay. We can still win, but just win anyway. Find a way. I mean, that's continue to thrive in Beamer ball and continue to play great defense and just give our offense a chance and go from there. We'll see how it works, but A&M's very winnable. A&M's very winnable, and it's it would not have, we would not be saying that had it not been for that performance on Saturday night against Kentucky. So, just, it feels good to get that Wildcat size monkey off your back. And I mean, yeah, listen, it was a great performance. It was a great performance. I mean, I have not seen the Gamecocks play like that on the line of scrimmage against an SEC team in quite a while. So that was a lot of fun to watch. And, I just want to continue to see us play with that chip on our shoulder and be the aggressor and, continue flying around. And again, now we've got confidence. You've won 3 in a row, and who knows? But great win, bottom line, great win all around.
Yeah, and I see comments here about what if Levis was in. Look, I predicted 34-24 if Levis was in because the pacing of the game would have been different, but I still had us winning by about a 10-point margin because I still thought the Lions were going to do exactly what I said they were going to do. And I see people coming, oh, Levis this. Man, listen, Levis has been on his ass all year long. Levis has been sacked over and over. Levis has had to roll out the pocket constantly. I told y'all, I think I had told y'all that everything that we feared about our O-line, that's Kentucky's O-line. You know what I mean? Like, that was Kentucky's O-line. And I had said that, man, Levis might have been able to impact the game so that they would have gotten some more points. That would have sped up the pacing of the game, and that would have made us have to score more points. But I don't think that Levis was going to play a perfect enough game with his O-line around him to beat our team. It just, guys, our offense would have gotten more and could have gotten more for sure. And if the pacing in the second half was needed, we had control. Listen, guys, we slowed down in the second half. I mean, look at the defensive play calling. They only got their second touchdown. Really, honestly, I felt like Clayton was being a little too soft on those zone coverages when they got that second touchdown. We had third and long like 3 or 4 times there, and they let them get a little bit too easy a pass on third down, so they were able to complete on fourth down. You know what I mean? Like, we controlled that game from start to finish, despite the fact that we missed 2 in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, for sure. I mean, they went a little soft in coverage late, but I mean, I don't know. I guess it's to be expected when you're protecting a lead or whatever. But Bree, I appreciate the call. Really, really good stuff as always.
Yep.
I know we'll talk all week, every day, but I'm gonna continue to expand on. No, like I said, I appreciate you calling in. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. But to expand on what Bree was saying, because I'm seeing the comments as well, and they're more so on YouTube. But this is for anybody. I mean, you're going to see the comments here and there about Will Levis this, Will Levis that. Guys, what is the point in playing the hypothetical game? He wasn't healthy. Like, I mean, what is the point? That there is no what if. It just is. Like, he wasn't healthy. That's it. There's just no point in playing this high. What do you want to do? Go back and do Kentucky week all over and let's talk about it? We're not doing that, bro. Carolina went out with their 22, and Kentucky went out with their best 22, and Carolina beat Kentucky. That's all that matters. I don't give a damn who was playing. Hey, we had both of our starting safeties out. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's got injuries. Like, everybody, and I understand. I'm not denying that wasn't a big injury in this game. I'm not denying. I will not be someone that says, well, that game would have went exactly the same way had Levis played. It would have been different. It would have been, but you're just grasping for straws, bro. Trying to write off Carolina's win as well. If that quarterback played, well, he didn't. He didn't. So what difference? I mean, if your aunt had balls, she'd be your uncle. I mean, who gives a damn? Like, what difference does it make? Anyways, I don't know. Avoid slap dicks at all costs. That's generally a good way to operate. Guys, we're going to jump into our first break, but I want to continue to hear from you, more of your questions, comments, calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. Josh Reichley texts in, a dub always feels good, but a dub in Lexington is just sweeter. So can we call that a statement game, or does Levis being out make an asterisk beside that? We had starters out too. Honestly feel like this will be, and this was actually a text on Sunday, so my bad. Honestly feel like this would be one of the best shots to getting over the A&M hump this year. Go Cox. I think it's a statement game. I think it's a statement game just because, again, you went on the road and did something you have not done in quite a while, which is physically just manhandle your opponent in their venue. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn who was playing. I don't give a damn who's playing, who's out. That's what happened. Let's jump to the phone lines. Phil, what's up, man? How are you?
Pretty good, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. I know we talked on Friday off the record. The tone of our conversation, thankfully, is much different today. I know you're happy to say that as well, my friend. What's going on?
Absolutely. Great win on the road against the Wildcats. It's kind of a shame that it has to be a statement win, but it kind of is at this point. That's where we are as a program. But, I think, this is something that they can build on, hopefully. The reason for my call, though, is I wanted to give a big shout out to the Carolina Rugby boys for beating Clemsucks this weekend at home. Clemsucks was ranked number 3 in the country. The Gamecocks were number 6, and we got that dub against a very, very good Tigers team. By the way, that has not happened in 15s in about, 11 years or something like that. That is the first time that Carolina has beat Clemson in 15s regular rugby in about 11 years. So that's an incredible accomplishment for Coach John Roberts and the boys, and just really happy for him, man. Very cool.
Love seeing that. Absolutely love seeing that. Yeah, and I posted, I don't know if you saw, I reposted the picture trying to show the love to the rugby guys, and our guy Gavin Bennett doing work, and it was incredible, man. Really, really, really happy for the rugby squad. Really happy.
Absolutely. It's great to have the Palmetto Cup back in Columbia where it belongs. And yeah, that's all I got for you. Just, excited for the football and the rugby program moving forward.
Yeah. Phil, always a pleasure to chat with you, my guy. I appreciate you.
Have a good one. Go Cox.
Yeah, go Cox. Take care, man. Really, really good stuff. Glad to hear from Phil. Guys, Stephen Garcia will be coming up sometime this hour. We've been in communication back and forth. Garcia on the golf course. We might be chatting with him live from the golf course. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Anyways, I want to continue to hear from you guys. Phone lines are wide open as expected. We've got a great crowd tuned in today. Thank you all so much for the continued love and support. Like I mentioned, guys, merchandise 15% off until midnight tonight using promo code BeamerBall, all one word. Using promo code BeamerBall, you can get your merch there. The hats you see, the shirts you see, and much, much more as well. Also, go ahead and get your towels ordered before the Texas A&M game. By the way, those who are waiting on koozies, I appreciate your patience. I've got a new batch of those in the mail as we speak, waiting on those to get here. So fulfilling that right now. We are getting your orders processed, packaged, shipped, all that good stuff. Let's get back into your questions. Let's see. Greg Bedinger says, I know we can beat A&M, but they just play pretty darn good football against Alabama. Also, I don't care that Bama didn't have Bryce. No different than our game. A&M put up 20 and had a chance to win at the end. We can beat them, but they are a pretty good football team. Brennan M. then replies, Bama was -3 in the turnover battle in Milroe's first start. If we can play clean football, have any sort of offensive game plan that makes sense, then we can win. Lexi Crawford, by the way, welcome Lexi to the Big Cock Club Discord. Lexi says, so many negative Nancys in the YouTube chat. Annoying. I guess some people will never be happy either way. Can't have the best of both worlds. Hella annoying, though. Yeah, I mean, like I said, guys, there's nothing wrong with being there's nothing wrong with being critical after a win. And that's the best spot to be in, right? Is, you love to be able, and any coach will tell you, you love to be able to teach your team lessons after a victory versus a defeat. But again, as someone who is a fan, who is just an observer from afar and just gives my takes and opinions on things, guys, I'm choosing to be happy after a dub. We're far from perfect, but we can worry about Texas A&M all week next week. my takeaway from that game on Saturday night, guys, again, the Gamecocks did something that we haven't seen them do a whole lot. And the whole culture versus climate thing, man, it played so much of a bigger role than any of us gave credit to. And that was evident by Shane Beamer pulling out the shades in the postgame in the locker room and the culture over climate T-shirts. I mean, they had T-shirts printed, ready to go. So you can't say that, well, they didn't take it personally. Oh, yes, they did. They took it very personally. And to see the Gamecocks truly take it personally and go just take it to Kentucky, play with a chip on their shoulder, play with an edge, to be the aggressor and to be the tone setter on the road at night in a hostile SEC venue, that's what I love to see more than anything. And I think that's something definitely now you can take and you can build major confidence off of. And, we talked about being the inflection point, and certainly it is that. And wow, the way it changes the outlook of the second half of your season. I mean, it's just incredible. Just incredible. So Hunter Johnson says, no, Chris, I pointed that out last week and said they use it as fuel for the game. Hunter, I'm not saying you. I agree with you. I thought it'd be fuel for the game as well. But there were some folks that said, oh, why are you still trying to make this a thing? And, why are you trying to make it a thing? It's not a thing anymore. It's like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it was. Anyways, guys, want to continue to hear from you. 843-790-3377. Yeah, Travi, the D did look vintage. It did. That was a vintage performance from the defensive line. Really, it was. It reminded me of the Spurrier years and the way our defensive line just used to take over games. And I'm not saying we're going to do this on a week in, week out basis. I'm not saying we've got some Jadeveon Clowney up front, but I've been critical of Zach Pickens. I've been critical of Jordan Burch, wanting more and more from them. And they showed out. They balled out, man. They absolutely balled out. Tonka Hemingway is a guy that I felt like, sort of slid down the depth chart a little bit, but my goodness, what a performance. 2 fumble recoveries in that ballgame. And it's why I gave Jimmy Lindsey the MVP award for that game on Saturday, the Commander Award, as it's better known as, because his unit took over the game. His unit absolutely took over that ballgame. So, again, it just goes back to what our good friend Jake Crane said about football, man. You win the line of scrimmage, you're going to win a lot of games. So, you're going to win a lot of games. Let's see. Sean Wells, are the basketball exhibition games free? As far as I know, I believe so. As far as I know, I believe they are. So, again, guys, 843-790-3377. Again, Steven Garcia will join us sometime in this hour. I'm not exactly sure what time, but he will join us. He will join us. Let's see. It's just crazy, man, how this time last week folks are saying, we're not going to win 4 or 5 games. And now you got those same people saying, well, 7, 8, 9 wins is back on. So it just goes to show it's a crazy game, man. The highs are high and the lows are low. And the goal is to stay as close to the middle as possible. So let's see. Let's see. Yeah, Travis Lee, the O-line has come along lately. I'm not going to credit it to any coach leaving or anything like that, but I think the O-line has gotten better. I will say that to their credit. I think the offensive line's gotten better as the season's gone on. And, I'm still, again, guys, you try to stay in the middle. So I'm not going to sit here and say that the offensive line's elite and that we're on the road to 10-2. But, we won more than we lost on Saturday night in the trenches. And, that's a positive sign. That's a positive sign because in the history of that series, Kentucky has physically whipped you at the point of attack. And so, that felt good. It feels good to be good. Feels good to be good. So, and I say this now, you know what? Here's the thing. Maybe all along, maybe we're right where maybe the pundits were kind of right all along. Like we were always kind of destined for 7-5, and it's going to be a very up and down type deal. And I mean, that's what makes me feel so optimistic about the second half of the season. I look at these last 6 games, right? not looking too far ahead, but I look at these last 6 games. Tennessee is going to be tough. I think they're a really, really good football team, but that game is so far down the line. Who knows what Tennessee looks like at that point? And then Clemson, going to be very, very tough at their place. They seem to kind of have it figured out. You know, I'd like to believe that maybe there'll be a different result than we've seen the last 7 years, but, you know, we'll see. But all the rest of them, you could reasonably look at and say those are winnable games. And the good news is, guys, the teams that we play, they're just as flawed and they're just as inconsistent as we are. I mean, that's the good news. That's the good news. They're just as flawed and they're just as inconsistent as we are. So, you know, for every game you say there's reasons what we're going to lose, I mean, I could say there's reasons we're going to win. A&M, Mizzou, Vandy, obviously. Florida. You know, it's possible. It is possible. So, anyways, I think it's, you know, most folks I think that said 7-5 in the preseason, I think their predictions probably coming true. I think, you know, again, what's so interesting is I had us exactly at this point. I had us over the summer beating Kentucky. So it's just great to see this Gamecocks football team again show us something that we had not seen to this point. And that is going on the road and dominating an opponent and doing it in the fashion, like I said, and wish they did. So, Phil, I appreciate the love, man. He says, hit the like button. Yeah, those on YouTube, please subscribe if you're not. Again, I do appreciate you all chiming in and calling in. Really, really good stuff, man. Obviously, it's fun to tune into TDC and it's TDC is a lot of fun. It's much. See, people think people try to from afar. They try to get inside my head and say, well, this is what Chris wants to happen. He wants to be the fire the coach guy. He wants us to lose. It's like, I'd much rather, guys, I would much rather post videos of me smoking a cigar and dancing on Kentucky's grave. I'd much rather do that than be calling for Marcus Satterfield to be fired today or, you know, question the future of the program, right? I'd much rather that be the case. I'd much rather it happen. Let's see. Let's get back. I'm going to do something real quick. All right. I am someone who is superstitious. We're going to make it a once-a-week thing. Rebecca called in last week, and we won. I think it's got to be a once-a-week thing until proven otherwise. So, Rebecca, phone lines are open for you. You're more than welcome to call in. You're more than welcome to do it. I see you clamoring for it in the comments. I am a man of the people. And so I'm going to give you today, or at least we got to do it once this week. I know we don't play, but it's still, you got to kind of keep the vibes going, right? Even through the bye week, you got to kind of keep your John Eber, what's up, man? How are you?
Oh, dude, great. I got a little bit. I'm doing the working here. Give me 1 second. Dude, that is as much fun, I think, as I've had on a Saturday night watching this play in like a good while. And I'm making this short and sweet. That was fun Saturday night. And I love seeing Shane Beamer in the locker room, players after the game. I mean, like you said, when you first came on today, they definitely kept the seat in those bulletin board material, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just gonna get off with this. Hey, Mark Stoops, I think the climate is pretty dang good in Columbia, South Carolina. You have a good day, Chris.
John Edward, thank you, sir. I appreciate the call. Short, sweet, and to the point. I love it, John Edward. Thank you. And yeah, I'd say the climate, the culture, what have you, pretty good. So I say, guys, again, I don't give a damn what slapdicks say, what Kentucky slapdicks or dude, I tell you what, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you, because it's interesting how business has evolved and like our social media channels have evolved, and like this entity used to get the most comments, and then it was this one, then it was back to this one. I'll tell you, Facebook is a shit show. Those of you on Facebook, which is pretty much everybody, but I'm telling you, if you just ever want to entertain yourself, go pop yourself a bag of popcorn and sit down and just pull up our Facebook page and just read the comments. I mean, they are wild. The amount of slapdicks that reside on Facebook and comment is just, it is insane. I mean, here we go. Rebecca, what's up? How are you?
Good. I've been wanting to get on here and make an announcement, and it's something to do with football.
I cannot wait to hear it. Please fill us in.
Okay. First off, what I was trying to say is, what is the rooster's name first? What is the rooster's name?
Sir Big Spur.
The mascot.
Sir Big Spur.
Okay. All right. There's a reason that I'm asking this.
All right.
Rebecca is getting a rooster for Christmas.
You're getting a pet rooster for Christmas.
Yes.
Wow. That is a hell of an announcement. That's incredible.
It is. And I'm gonna name it probably Cocky after the mascot.
You're hold on. You're gonna name it what now?
Cocky.
You're gonna name it Cocky. Okay. You're gonna name it Cocky. Very good. That is a hell of an announcement. Congratulations on that.
I wanted to tell everybody that, but I've been trying to call in last week to let everybody know. And it did have something to do with football.
I love
it.
I love it.
And I want to say I'm happy to hear about us beating Kentucky. Like I said before, we need faith, y'all. That's all it takes is faith to be positive about us winning.
Yeah, life is. I kind of question the people. I mean, people, listen, you're free to think and do whatever you want to do, but how miserable is life if you can't even be happy in the victories? I understand not being happy when things don't go well. When your favorite team loses, I get that. I understand not being happy, but when you can't even be happy after the wins, that's just tough, man. Like you really need to, if you can't, to steal the phrase from South Carolina, if you can't find some joy, if you can't do that after a W, I mean, it's not like we just beat Charlotte or SC State. We beat an SEC team. And damn it, I'm going to be happy as hell about that shit. I'm not even going, and I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize. If you've got people in your life that make you apologize for being happy about a win, you don't need that. You don't need that toxicity in your life. You don't need that negativity in your life. I'm not saying don't be critical, but I'm just saying, like, be willing to see both sides at minimum. I don't care when people are critical. I don't care when people sunshine pump. But most of the people that do that, they're just on one side. I try to be as much in the middle as possible. But, if you're looking at this game and saying, well, I still think we suck and Will Levis. No, we're right on pace for what we were always going to be. The only way, I'll tell you this, the only way that you think we're a trash team, yeah, I mean, if you picked us to go 10-2, then yeah, you probably do think we're a trash team. But that's not our problem that you set improper expectations. Life's all about setting proper expectations. So if you set improper expectations, then you probably do think we suck. And I'm not saying we're world beaters. I'm not saying we're great, but we're about a 7-5 football team, which is what everybody picked us to go. That's what we are. So,
Right, Chris.
Right.
I agree.
I'm glad to hear that.
I mean, all you got to do is have faith. Is all it matters.
Keep the faith.
Keep the faith in the South Carolina Gamecock Nation.
Yeah, and I say this, and I say this, and try to stay as much in the middle as possible, because, hey, don't lose sight of the fact, as good as we're feeling right now, you could lose to Texas A&M, and we're right back on the other side, or you could get, God forbid, you could get upset by Missouri. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it can. So, that's why you don't, after beating Kentucky, you don't let yourself run to, 9-3's back on, 10-2's back on. Just try to stay in the middle. I think 6-6, 7-5 is very possible. I had 8-4 in the preseason. I don't know about 8-4. 8-4 sounds a little aggressive, but 6-6 or 7-5, very doable, very good year. But I'm not here to change my preseason predictions or anything like that. Take it just 1 week at a time, 1 game at a time. See where the chips fall.
Right. And I totally agree with you, Chris. I totally agree. Everybody needs just to have faith in this Gamecock Nation that we will do what we can, And I believe we can beat. I got my faith in this, knowing that Tennessee is better, that Tennessee is. But I got faith that South Carolina is going to beat Tennessee.
I hope you're right.
That's
That'd be a hell of a win. I hope you're right.
That's my faith in believing and stuff like that. And also, I need to check with you on something about them T-shirts, about that T-shirt that we posted on. I'll take that in private PM with you on Messenger.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. Rebecca, I appreciate the call. It's always a pleasure to chat with you.
Well, it's always a pleasure to call in. I love this show.
Well, we love you too, Rebecca. Much love to you.
Yeah. Tell Stephen Garcia I said hi.
We will do that.
All right. Thank you.
Take care, Rebecca. We'll talk soon. Great stuff, guys. Hey, we're going to go ahead and jump into another break, but on the other side, I want to continue to hear from you, more of your questions, comments, calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843 790 3377. 843 790 3377. Guys, again, waiting on Steven Garcia. Just kind of trying to figure out what the game plan is going to be with Gar. I know he's on the golf course, if you will, but I know you guys, I want to hear his thoughts too. I want to hear his thoughts too on the game. So we will see. Let's see. Let me go ahead and send him the link over. All right. Let me get to Coach Ford's comments. Coach Ford is tuned in. Many of you obviously are interested in what Coach Ford has to say. Let's see. Coach Ford says, here we go. I agree with you, Chris. We should not apologize for beating Kentucky, Levis or not. Nobody apologizes to us. I saw nothing that changed my opinion on Satterfield. Actually, I'm more convinced than ever that he must go. Saw some good from Clayton White as he got people back from injury. And I see some people giving Coach Ford some grief. And listen, I've gone back and forth with Coach Ford plenty, but I think that's a fairly spot-on take. I'd say this. Am I happy that we beat Kentucky? Absolutely. I mean, how could you not tell? Do I still think that probably at season's end, we need to go a different direction at OC? Probably. I mean, honestly, probably so. Probably so. I think when the dust settles, let me just put it this way. I think when the dust settles on this season, we will still look back and say, I think that the offense did not meet expectations. I think that'll be fair to say. And so, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But, obviously your shortcomings and deficiencies are overshadowed when you win, right? When you win. And so we're not talking about the offense and their struggles and 90 yards in the first half because we won the football game, right? And I'm not saying we're wrong for doing that, but I think we'd all agree that the offense, there's still a lot left to be desired. The Z Hudson asked, did a podcast out today? Yes, I've seen people asking that. Guys, the podcast is out across all channels. Yes, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. If you have to refresh your iTunes or something, or maybe close out of the app and open it back up, I promise you, though, it's out. It's out there. Yes, the podcast is out. It dropped as normal at 5 a.m. this morning. I know some people were asking me where it was. It's there. Sometimes you got to kind of mess around with iTunes. It kind of takes it a while to refresh. So anyways, though, but I will say give Sat and the offensive staff credit. They made the adjustments at halftime and a very productive second half. So, you got to give credit where credit's due. You got to tip your cap, like I said, but that is the number one concern, of course, moving forward. I don't think any of us thought we were going to come out of the Kentucky game feeling like we had solved all of our woes or problems, but the bottom line is you got the dub. That is the bottom line. So let's see. Yep, it is on Spotify also. You're correct. Again, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. I mean, literally everywhere you get your podcasts. The Spurs Up Show will be there. Huge protein drink guy. Huge protein drink guy. Let's see. I will say this too. By the way, I'll say this. I will say this. This needs to be said. We've been critical of Marcus Satterfield all season, and deservedly so. But I tell you what, that reverse to Jalen Brooks, I mean, chef's kiss. I mean, that was a thing of beauty. Best play call of the season, I'd say. The block by Antoine Wells on that play, oh my goodness, just incredible. So much fun to watch. So fun to see. And then Jalen Brooks getting the score. That was a fantastic play call. I don't care how you feel about Sat. That was a great play call. That was a great play call. So let's see. We got a question here from Zach. What's your biggest concern for the offense? O-line, Rattler, execution, lack of a true slot receiver. Mine is definitely the slot wide receiver. We rarely work the middle of the field with slants. And I guess that's a great point. Maybe we're not putting enough on the receivers. Like, our guys getting open, right? My biggest concern for the offense, man, I'd probably say, yeah, the slot receiver is a concern for sure. Lack of productivity as a whole. So let's see. Alden Bodine. All I got to say to Alden is pipe down slapdick. Bad day to be Alden Bodine. Like I said, people on Facebook are crazy, bro. You people on Facebook are just nuts. If they had an IQ test, if you had to have like a certain IQ to get on Facebook, there'd be a lot of people that wouldn't have a Facebook. I'm just going to put it out there. Let's see. Nikki Brown, Lloyd running 11 yards, the 11 early, then not going back to him and passing to take a sack and a fumble. Yeah, that was not good. That was not good. And that's just like feel of the game, in-game play calling. Yeah, that was not good. That was not good. So that was not good at all. So got to have a feel. Got to have a feel there. Got to have a feel. And you know what? Even if you feel good about the play call, Spencer Rattler got to protect the football. Got to protect the football. Bottom line. So, you know, my hope is that you take, again, the second half, your successes in the second half, and you build on it. You build on it. Bottom line, you build on it. Let's see. But again, guys, hey, you're a Gamecock fan. You should be happy today. You should be very, very happy today. I understand that the situation, the circumstance, and who was playing, who wasn't. Who gives a damn? We got no sympathy for it last year, so I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it, man. We took our best 22 and beat Kentucky's best 22, and that's really all I give a damn about. I don't give a damn who was in, who was out for them, whatever. So let's see. Tyler Poole says the question is, do we stay consistent? Never been able to do so in years past. Hope we do. Well, Tyler, I'll say this, as I said earlier, with this bye week now, and you've won 3 straight, Carolina should be poised to play by far their best game of the season. I mean, you know, we said it going into Kentucky. You should have a great game plan. You should play well with the extra time to prepare. Now you've got a bye week. Hey, bye week sat to the moon. Bye week sat to the freaking moon, ladies and gentlemen. So, let's see. Getting back to the TDC questions channel, the Big Cock Club Discord. Let's see. Austin Moore says the screens are fun to watch when they hit like that. That's a very good point. Yeah, listen, I don't have problems with screens, with swing passes. I just want them to work, you know. So when they work, it's a lot of fun to see your athletes, right? I thought perimeter blocking was much, much better. You know, when you get your athletes out in space like that, I mean, Jalen Brooks, fantastic game. I told you guys after SC State, he's kind of become one of your top targets. Antoine Wells obviously doing what he did. So, Ethan Sanders, Chris, what's your thoughts on South Carolina not being ranked or at least closer to a top 25 spot? They moved a D2 team in and not us. Ethan, I don't think we should be ranked after beating Kentucky. I think you got to go do it again. You beat Texas A&M, then we can talk. But, you know, and I haven't watched James Madison, so I don't know why they're giving the 25th spot, but I don't think it's unfair. I don't think it's unfair, Ethan, that we sit just outside the top 25. That doesn't bother me. You know, I'd say, like somebody was saying earlier, consistency, right? Consistency. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. And then we can start to talk. So, Michael Ray, I want to stick with the Garnet helmets till we lose. I hear you. Those Garnet helmets, they look sharp. I thought we should have probably went Stormtroopers, but they did look sharp. The unis looked sharp. Wesley Bowles says, it's time for Rattler to have that game please be the A&M game. And, you know, I will say this. I want to go on record and say that I was wrong, right? I was wrong in my conversations with Bree. I was wrong in my commentary to you all that, I thought South Carolina would need above average quarterback play to beat Kentucky. I did not think that you were going to go into Lexington and win without an above average performance from Spencer Rattler. And I was wrong, because what I didn't see happened in that you dominated the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively. Or at least you won more often than you lost. Defensively, certainly, you dominated the line of scrimmage. 6 sacks. Enough said. And then offensively, again, you won more than you lost. You created enough running lanes for Marshawn Lloyd to have a very productive night. Gave Spencer Rattler just enough time. Was the offensive line performance perfect? No. But as we talked going in, the South Carolina-Kentucky series has been defined by winning at the point of attack and physicality. And you look at that game on Saturday. Who was the more physical football team? South Carolina. Who won at the point of attack? South Carolina. So it should be no surprise that the Gamecocks won the football game. And that's why I would say, for the folks that want to make this Will Levis argument, did him not playing change the dynamic of that game somewhat? Certainly. He's their starting quarterback. But to say that it would have just completely changed, does Will Levis all of a sudden play offensive line? I don't think so. Let's see. Lexi says, I liked our third down conversions. They were a lot better. Yeah, no, I thought we were much better on third down. Much, much better. And I will say that, hey, that's credit too. Let's make sure we give Spencer Rattler that credit. Made plays in the second half, right? Made a lot of plays in the second half. That big-time third down conversion to Jalen Brooks. The offense played much, much better in that second half. Played much better. Played much, much better. And you got to give them credit for it. So, got to give them credit for it. The comments going wild. Of course, Facebook. Michael Cooper says, Chris, I remember during the offseason you saying that Brooks wasn't an SEC caliber receiver. He has proved that to not be true. Hey, I'll tip my cap. Michael, I'll admit when I'm wrong. I hadn't seen it up to that point, and he has shown this year he has made hella strides. So, hey, I'm happy to see it. I'm ecstatic to see it. Like I said, I mean, what's good for Jalen Brooks is good for Carolina, and what's good for Carolina is good for me and you. So I'm all about it. I'm glad to see it, man. I'm happily pleased and happily surprised with what Jalen Brooks has become. I really am. Credit Justin Stepp and his development and his job at wide receiver coach. Absolutely. Absolutely. How about this? We got the Roach King. The Roach King is on the links. What's up, man?
What's up?
Dude, how's it going? I won't keep you too long if you're in the middle of the round, dude. I appreciate you even making any time to chat.
No, man, hell yeah. Just chipped in for the second time today, so I'm feeling froggy.
Let's go. Let's go. By the way, I want to shout out you, my friend. For those that do not know, I guess we haven't made the announcement yet. You're obviously rocking the Rebel Rabbit Polo. This segment is now sponsored specifically by Rebel Rabbit. We've been working with the Rebel Rabbit folks behind the scenes, so we don't even have like an ad read put together or anything yet, but y'all go check out Rebel Rabbit. We'll be promoting the shit out of them. I know obviously Steven's already been doing so, and I do want to say, because I was thinking about this morning, Steven, I know we got to get you in and out, but I want to say thank you to you, because I don't know if you realize, not to get sentimental here on this Monday, but realize how much you have meant to not just this segment we're doing, not just the Daily Crow, but the entire business. I'll never forget our first conversation all the way back in January of 2018.
Yeah.
And so a lot of business successes I've had, I could really attribute to, your willingness to chat with me, and people, I think, it obviously taking the show to the next level when they see a guy like yourself, being willing to take the time to chat. So again, I just want to say thank you so much. And then again, obviously a partnership like this with Rebel Rabbit, it wouldn't be possible if it were not for you, the Roach King. So again, I just wanted to say thank you. I truly do genuinely appreciate you, my friend. And,
appreciate it.
Yeah, always look forward to every Monday. But hey, let's go ahead and dive into it. Obviously a lot of fun on Saturday night. We got a really fun one to talk about. Gamecocks get the big 24-14 win. We'll start defensively, because I know you got a lot of thoughts on the offense. Steven, that felt like to me what that Gamecocks defense did. 6 sacks. it felt like one of those vintage South Carolina football games, like when you were in Columbia. And I just remember the defenses would just take over, man. The defensive fronts would take over, and you saw guys flying around, Zach Pickens, Jordan Birch, Tonka Hemingway, that were just living in the backfield. And again, a really dominant defensive performance, which I think should be the story of the game. Your thoughts on what Carolina did on that side of the ball?
As I was texting you, man, dude, we hit it on all three fronts, man. Defense, special teams, offense. We played like a pissed off football team, a confident football team. And, you know, it's not hard to play over there. As I said, it's not hard to play in Lexington.
Facts. Hey,
how do you like me now? How do you like me now?
Dance on the graves of Big Blue Nation all week. I think that's what we all should do, to be honest with you. I love it. Offensively, Steven, obviously, you know, that is your forte, and with Spencer Rattler and his play. And it was a rough start, right? 90 yards in the first half, tie ball game, though, 7-7. You get it going in that second half. Were there any noticeable adjustments that you saw in regards to scheme or play calling, or was it as simple as just the execution was better in that second half?
I think we got the ball into the playmakers' hands. As you stated, you know, last week, we got to get the ball in those guys' hands. And, I mean, they got some players over there, man. We got some talented guys. And, dude, I mean, it was simple play calls, simple screens, and these guys are taking it to the freaking shack. I mean, it was awesome to see. It was fun to see, and I think that just improved their confidence, man. We're gonna start playing dangerous. I feel like I think Spencer's kind of getting comfortable with everybody, trusting the little offensive line a little bit more, and dude, I'm kind of excited, man. I think the rest of the season could be pretty good.
Yeah, and I think that should be, you know, it was a struggle early, but I agree with you, Steven, that like that should be the takeaway from Saturday night, is that you hope that those second half adjustments and what they did in the second half, like you mentioned, can give all those guys on the offensive side confidence. And we can see more of that to come in the second half of the season. Like you said, a team playing dangerous, because, you know, confidence and success, they go hand in hand, and you need confidence to be successful, but you need to see some success to build that confidence. And now you've got both, being on a 3-game winning streak, getting your first SEC win under your belt on the road, beating a top 15 team, and now you've got the bye, and it's all good vibes around. I think offensively, though, being able to bottle up what you did in that second half and carry that through, it'll be really interesting to see if they can do that. For sure. And I think we will, man. That was as confident and as loose as I've seen us play, again, in the second half for sure. We played with nothing to lose. We didn't play uptight. We didn't play, you know, scared of anybody. I mean, we went out there and we hit them in the freaking head. 6 sacks. I mean, that's how you win football games, especially. Look, I know I said Lexington's easy to play in, but anytime you play on the road, no matter where it is in the SEC, it's not easy. So I think my words kind of got taken out of context there, but it is difficult to play away. But I mean, I preferred it. I loved it. I love shutting those damn idiots up. So I'm glad that we did, man. I'm glad we took care of business, and you know, we're moving forward too. And I love Coach Beamer at the end of the game, man, putting the sunglasses on and saying fuck all the other bullshit. Like, we're here and we're playing loose, man. I love it. Yeah, man, you bring that up, and that was probably, Steven, my biggest takeaway from the game, obviously, is just from the high-level overview that the role of Mark Stoops' comments from the preseason and the whole culture versus climate thing. And, you know, obviously Beamer gave the politically correct coach speak answer about, you know, and then Mark Stoops saying it wasn't about Carolina, but it was obvious after the game, especially, right, that they took that very personally. And like you mentioned, Steven, that's what I loved more than anything, is that so often we've seen the Gamecocks come out and, like you said, like kind of be timid and allow the opponent to set the tone. And that was not the case at all Saturday night. I mean, from the opening snap, this was a football team that, like you mentioned, played pissed off, played with some swag. As Spencer Rattler said in the postgame, played like they expected to win. And a lot of football, man, as you know, it's about attitude. It's just about attitude and being more confident and taking it to your opponent, and again, setting the tone early. I think if you continue to do that, you're going to see a lot of success down the road. For sure. And, you know, that you know, when I heard that, it's like, dude, I mean, were we not expecting to win previously, or like, you know, I mean, even in 2007 when I was up there, we were, you know, bottom of the barrel SEC, you know, competition, me and South Carolina. But I mean, Coach Bird would go in there every single preseason and be like, I expect to win every single game. I expect to play in the SEC championship. I expect to go undefeated. I expect to beat Clemson. And dude, you have to, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you suiting up if you don't expect to win? You should expect to win everything. Steven, anything? I know you leave that game. Obviously, it's great to learn from victories. Anything specifically you want to see more of from the offense? Because I feel like folks still leave that game, obviously, wanting more, right? And that's okay. Totally understand it. Again, you got to get off to a little bit better starts offensively. But is there anything specifically you look at and say you want to see more of? I think you and I can obviously agree Marshawn Lloyd's a freak. He needs to touch the ball. The dude glides, I feel like, when he runs. Antoine Wells, Jalen Brooks, your playmakers on the outside, Jaheim Bell getting the football. But would you like to see more downfield? I mean, is there anything specifically you'd just like to see more of moving forward?
Of course, man. I mean, as a QB, man, I love to see the ball in the air. I love to see, bombing it down the field. But at the end of the day, you got to get the ball to the playmakers. Let them. That's what they get paid to do. So, I mean, why the hell not? Get them the ball in the screens, reverses like he did for the touchdown. I mean, there's several ways to get guys the ball. You got to be creative. And, man, I mean, seeing that second half, I mean, I think I'm hoping that we kind of broke the seal a little bit and we kind of are mixing up a little bit and getting these guys the ball in creative ways. That's how you got to keep guys off your toes or off their toes. And especially when you're playing away against ranked teams. I mean, you gotta have ways to get these guys the ball.
Yeah, I think you make a great point, Stephen, about, just the light bulb moment. That there's a moment where it just clicks and you kind of get over the hump, and that can apply to anything in life, right? They used to say that all the time when I worked in sales. Like, there's a light bulb moment where you sort of become like a master salesman, and you hope for that offense that they sort of hit their light bulb moment. And now it's like you have this newfound confidence, like, hey, we found something. Again, let's continue to build on it as we go. South Carolina goes into a bye week this weekend, Stephen. Just give us an idea. What is a bye week like for a college football player? Obviously, you get some very necessary time off, and it's a great time to rest up guys and heal up those bruises, if you will. But what will the team be enduring or going through this weekend as they navigate the bye week, if you will?
I think just trying to stay healthy or remain healthy, ice up any injuries, try to get everything back together. If there are any serious injuries, and just kind of have some fun. That was our main thing, was having bye weeks, was just having fun, kind of getting back to that play attitude. I don't know if Coach Beamer's having that same philosophy as Coach Spurrier, but that's how we did our bye weeks. I mean, we actually got a chance to go home, so I love going home. Obviously I had a baby there, so I went home. But as we practiced, I mean, I would have guys over at the house and do a little cookout, have some adult beverages and chill. So I mean, that's kind of what the bye week is, and I'm glad we have it at this time in the year right now.
Yeah, right at the halfway point. Again, you sit 4-2, which, I mean, I think all things considered, man, as a Gamecock fan, you got to be happy. I mean, it's right where I picked this team to be 6 games through. And, if you'd have told me that South Carolina would be at this point with a win over a top 15 team on the road, I don't know many of us that would not have signed up for that. Again, it's crazy how just one game can change the entire view of the second half of your season and your season as a whole. Stephen, I appreciate you. I know this is a little bit more of a condensed appearance from you, but I wanted to make sure we got your thoughts, got your opinions. I'm going to give you one more opportunity, by the way, my guy, because you took hell from Big Blue Nation last week. Is there any parting message you want to give to the Kentucky faithful out there?
I don't want to be the guy that I told you so, but I fucking told you so. And leave me the hell alone.
I love it.
Leave me the hell alone.
Get off of Stephen Garcia's Twitter account. Oh, my God. Stephen, I appreciate you, man. Hey, hit him straight. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Take care. Stephen Garcia, the Roach King, out. You love it. You love it. God. I know, guys, a little bit more of a condensed version of Stephen Garcia's appearance, but Stephen playing in a golf tournament today, and, hey, we're able to be efficient, knock it out, navigate it, which it actually worked well because we got the bye week upcoming. There's no game to talk about this weekend, so really good stuff. Appreciate Stephen always taking his time. Really, really good stuff. And, guys, in case you missed any of that conversation, we will have that posted on the Daily Crow podcast form as well as video form on YouTube of Stephen Garcia's appearance. Really good stuff, though. Love that. Love that. Just dancing on the graves of Big Blue Nation. Guys, we got 8 minutes to go. No more breaks. We're going to take your questions, comments, calls. You guys want to call in, squeeze in a last-minute call, you can do so here on this Monday, a very busy Monday. We love it. We love it. Being busy is a blessing. By the way, guys, on a side note, I will tell you this. Things are moving. Things are moving behind closed doors. Working on locking down by end of day today a very, very big business deal, very big business deal, and a very big acquisition by yours truly. And it's something you'll probably see over the next week or two. I mean, I'll go ahead and tell you guys, you already know about the SEC Unfiltered entity that I launched over the summer, and kind of just been figuring out what I want to do with it and what direction we want to go, and, exactly what I want my next move to be as an entrepreneur and a content creator. And we've got some ideas that are about to be put in place, that are about to be put in action very, very soon. I'm someone that I thrive on being uncomfortable. And I say that not in a negative connotation, but a positive connotation, continuing to reinvent and evolve and grow and push the envelope and do different things. And so this will be something that once it is finalized and once we start going again, we're going to learn as we go. And that's what I've always done. And that's how I've always attacked it. And, I kind of went back and forth on the decision, but for me, it felt like a no-brainer that, it's time yet again, to push the envelope and operate as I always have. And really excited for it. So again, I'll just say that you guys will know more as it gets closer. I don't even have all the details sorted out, to be honest with you, but a big time acquisition that will take place by end of day, and very excited for it. I mean, if nothing else, guys, it is only going to enhance the experience for you guys, and for all you out there that enjoy hearing me talk about things that maybe aren't the Gamecocks, fully all SEC and even national sports. Renee Benson, it's good to be a Gamecock. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Absolutely. Great to be a Gamecock on a day like today, no doubt. Great to be a Gamecock on a day like today. Like I said, folks, it feels good to win. Never lose sight that the fun's in the winning. Never lose sight of that. Never lose sight that the fun is in the winning. Truly. Truly. Yeah, I don't care, again, who was playing. Feels good to be good. Here, let's turn it on. Savage, what's up, man? How are you?
Yeah, good, doing good, man. Still good to be a winner against Kentucky. I cannot believe it's happening.
It does feel good to be a winner, my friend. It does feel good to be a winner indeed.
Me too, but we got 3 wins to go, and we got a bye week now this week, and I cannot wait to be a good, successful as it is. So, congrats to Shane Beamer and congrats to Spencer Rattler for a whole entire season.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, like I said, that was a great win, and now it sets you up, right? We talked about Kentucky being the inflection point, and I mean, right. It certainly is, right? Because the conversation today is just completely different if you didn't win that game. So now you're looking at the last 6 games. Hey, we can win 7, we can win 8. You lose to Kentucky, struggling to get to 6, right? Staring 5 and 7 in the face. So it's crazy how one game can do that, but it was a massive game, massive importance, and this team played that way. That's what I love to see. This team played that way. They knew how important the game was, and they wanted to go out and prove a point, and they did so. So it feels good to be good here on this Monday.
Exactly. And I know Kentucky got upset because I know we just like win against them, and I cannot believe we win against them because they deserve to be lose, and we deserve to be win. I think the most of the part is we got a great team, we got a great idea. We try to get to them. I know Marcus is doing some stuff, but I know we're doing so well because I know it's still good to be winning against them, and I think we're going to be a good accountable for all those people who is going to be good to them. So that's the Gamecocks. That's the Shane storm begin. Let the Gamecocks begin to 100%, 1,000%. So am I right? Am I clear?
Yeah, no, listen, I think you're right. Again, it feels good to be on this side of things, man. Feels good to be in the win column. Savage, I appreciate the call, my guy. Always great stuff. Dre Picasso asks, any updates on Dak Joyner? Dre, what updates are you looking for, my guy? I think he's healthy. I just don't think he's one of our top playmakers that we are utilizing on a week in, week out basis. I'm pretty positive he's healthy. So I could be wrong. But yeah, I just think that right now, Dre, there's only one football, right? And right now your top playmakers that are touching it are Marshawn Lloyd, Juju McDowell, Juice Wells, Jalen Brooks, Jaheim Bell, Josh Vann, I guess, Marion Brown. just one ball. There's only one ball to go around. So I think he's just struggling to find reps. I think that's what it comes down to. So, and I can assure you, I'm not going to get into the Dak Joyner conversation any further. But, I think it's just there's one football and you got a lot of guys that need to touch it. And, it's just it's hard to get reps. It's hard to get reps. So, anyways, guys, 2 minutes to go. Be sure you check out the podcast that dropped this morning. Dre, yeah, that's the answer I was looking for. Just wondering why he's not being used. Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's just guys fighting for reps. And I just think, again, there's only one football. And, I don't see them putting him in at quarterback. So, yeah, I don't see that happening. Anyways, guys, podcast did drop this morning, episode 713. Full breakdown of everything that happened over the weekend. TDC as normal this week. No podcast on Friday because of the bye week, right? No game to break down. We will have the podcast on Wednesday as normal, but no podcast on Friday. But TDC rocking and rolling all week long. Luke RJ, what was the announcement you were talking about? Well, Luke RJ, it's not really an announcement yet. I might give you guys some more details behind the scenes in the Big Cock Club Discord, but nothing really to announce yet. But let me just say this. If you followed along over the summer and the SEC Unfiltered stuff, it falls in line with that in regards to business expansion and personal expansion for me and getting outside of just doing TSUS. That is what we're working on. That's what the acquisition is. So I will let you guys know. I mean, it's still a work in progress. I try to keep things as transparent as possible within reason, but the joys in the journey, like I said, and I'm enjoying every step of the way, man, truly. AJ Bowers, I hope we go all garnet against Texas A&M. Maybe we will. We'll see. Guys, we've hit 2 o'clock. Appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your Monday, and we will talk to you all tomorrow.